Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the newest Blu-ray release from the folks over at Scream Factory. This is for the 1988 serial killer thriller Jack's Back, written and directed by Rowdy Herrington and starring James Spader. As many of you guys probably know who's followed my channel for any period of time, I love this movie. I recently did an in-depth review of it for my series, The Lost, a couple of months ago, so go check that video out for a more in-depth review of the film. Here I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie, but I'm mostly going to talk about the Blu-ray, because this film has never been available in the US on DVD or Blu-ray in any kind of official capacity, and I've always thought that that is an absolute crying shame. The fact that not more people know about this film is an absolute crying shame, because I think this is one of the best thrillers of the 80s, and it's one of my all-time favorite films. I first saw Jack's Back on video back in either the late 90s or early 2000s, rented it from my video store. Yes, a video store. Had no idea what I was in for. It had this cover on the VHS. The back of the VHS was just a picture of James Spader like holding a table. And the synopsis sounded like just your run-of-the-mill serial killer thriller. There's a guy on the streets of LA. He is basically doing a copycat of every Jack the Ripper killing to the day that they were committed 100 years ago in London. So it sounded pretty much just like your typical 80s, you know, serial killer, slasher, thriller kind of movie. But I rented it, I took it home, I watched it, and I absolutely loved the movie. I've championed it ever since. I've tried to get as many people as possible to go out and watch it, which isn't easy considering the fact that it had never been available on DVD or Blu-ray in the United States, that is, until now. The fine folks over at Scream Factory have finally given this movie a proper release. I got this Blu-ray a little bit early. I think it comes out within the next couple of weeks, though, so definitely check out Scream Factory's website and pick up this Blu-ray. Some of the things I like about this movie, first and foremost, I love the writing of the film. I love the dialogue in the movie. The dialogue makes the characters sound like real people. They act like real people. They talk like real people. They have conversations just like real people. So immediately, I'm liking the characters in this film. James Spader plays dual roles in this movie. He plays twins in this film. Now, we've seen that in various other movies, and most of them just don't pull it off. In this film benefits from having a really good script, thanks to Rowdy Herrington, and James Spader, who does a phenomenal job in both roles. The first kind of, 20 minutes of the movie, he plays a young medical student, a very humanitarian type of character. You like him immediately. There's a sequence early in the film that says more about that character in a minute, less than a minute, than most films. It takes them pages of dialogue. In less than a minute, you know everything you need to know about that character, and you like him immediately. That's great writing, that's great dialogue, and that's great acting from James Spader. Now, after that, James Spader shifts to the other brother, who's kind of from the wrong side of the tracks. He's been in trouble with the law, yada, yada, yada. And the transition is absolutely seamless. Spader plays both characters. He gives them such differing qualities that you totally believe that they are twins. As a matter of fact, they talk on this Blu-ray about how Cynthia Gibb, who's the co-star of the film, when James Spader was playing the doctor character, John Westford, he was very, open and very nice to Cynthia Gibb, and Cynthia Gibb really liked that, but that was the character. When he showed up on set as the brother, as Rick Westford, he was so good. He was so kind of shadowy and kind of, brooding that it actually scared her. So that's good acting. That is very, very good acting. This was also James Spader's like first starring role, and I mean he does an absolutely phenomenal job in this film. This was writer-director Rowdy Harrington's first film, and like I said, the screenplay I think is fantastic. The dialogue, the characters are all great. It does something really smart in that, you know, the kind of, you know, that plot about, you know, the serial killer mimicking Jack the Ripper, it kind of fades into the background. And then we follow Rick Westford as he searches for the person or persons available for his brother's death. And that is such a gripping story in and of itself that once that plot is sort of resolved, and then, you know, the Jack the Ripper plot comes back into things, it's almost a surprise. You almost forget about that. That's really good writing as well. Now, I can't say the, you know, when the big reveal of who the Jack the Ripper mimic is, I can't say I didn't see that coming, but I can forgive that for all the great acting, for all the great dialogue, for just the great storytelling in this film. I love the look of the movie. There's a lot of that, you know, atmospheric kind of smoke in the film. It's really well lit. It looks 80s, kind of noirish. The music is fantastic. Everything about this movie, I just absolutely love. I've been a huge fan of this movie going all the way back to that first time I rented it on VHS. It was the first of many, as a matter of fact, before I ended up buying the VHS. And I've seen this movie a lot. I really love it, and I recommend it. Go to Scream Factory's website and pick it up. If you've not heard of this movie, if you've not seen this movie, I think you'll definitely like it. Just a really likable movie as well. The Blu-ray, there's not a whole lot of extras on this Blu-ray, but I'll go over them real quick. The picture quality and the sound quality are both great. The colors, there's lots of very, you know, deep blues in the film. They just kind of pop off the screen. The atmospheric smoke gives the movie this sort of grainy, gritty texture that really pops out in Blu-ray. Movie looks great in Blu-ray. The movie sounds great in Blu-ray. As far as extras are concerned, we have a 24-minute making of featurette, which features interviews with Rowdy Harrington, writer-director, Shelley Jonathan, cinematographer, Tim Moore, the producer, and Cynthia Gibb, the actress, or the lead actress in the film, I'm sorry. A very, very technical making of. They talk a lot about, you know, the technical qualities of how they shot the film, how they photographed it, you know, where they shot the film, etc., etc. Rowdy Harrington also talks about casting James Spader, talks about, you know, his, he started in the film business as actually like a gopher, and then he worked his way up to a gaffer. He worked behind the scenes for many years, and this was his opportunity to really go out and make a film of his own. And actually, Joel Silver, the producer, saw Jack's back, liked it so much that is how Rowdy Harrington got the job to direct Roadhouse, the classic Roadhouse. But yeah, really enjoyable 24-minute making of documentary. I would have loved to have seen some more people involved, you know, some more of the cast, etc., etc. But, you know, we still get a pretty good making of on this Blu-ray. We get a trailer, but I mean, that's not too much. We also get a commentary with writer-director Rowdy Harrington. I watched about half the film with the commentary. Again, a very, very technical commentary talking about, you know, where the scenes were shot, how they were photographed, etc., etc. He talks again about his how he got into the film business as a gopher and eventually working his way up to a gaffer, and then, you know, got the opportunity to make Jack's back. He talks about casting James Spader, working with James Spader. He's actually worked with James Spader on 3 films. Yeah, so I'll definitely finish watching the rest of the movie with the commentary, but again, a very technical commentary, and since it's just one guy talking, there are some kind of lulls, and if you're not really into sort of the technical side of filmmaking, you may find it just a tad bit boring. I did not, however, but yeah. And that's really about it for Jack's Back. for the special features on Jack's back, I should say. But yeah, I'm just really happy to finally have an official release of Jack's back. Yes, I would have wanted more, but I mean, I'm kind of a super fan, and I don't know if you could have really given me enough on this Blu-ray, but I'm just really happy to finally own an official release. So thank you, Scream Factory. It's been a long time coming, but I'm very, very happy to finally own an official release of Jack's back. Again, if you've not seen Jack's back, if you've not heard of Jack's back, buy this Blu-ray. Check the movie out. I think you will be glad that you did. If you're a fan of 80s thrillers, 80s sort of, you know, serial killer thrillers with some slasher elements, you're definitely going to like this. If you're a fan of James Spader, like I said, phenomenal acting from James Spader in this film. So believable, so good, so Spader. Great movie. I love this movie. So, yeah, go out, pick it up. If you've seen Jack's back, please let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. As always, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and until next time, peace.